Alright, welcome to the 40th Meetup, the Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup. Quote of the week is, being misperceived or misrepresented is one of the potential outcomes of expressing yourself. That was a cool one. That one sink in for a bit. We got upcoming meetups on September 28th. I'm going to do Sprite Kit. October, shoot, I'm sorry. Sprite Kit's coming up. Then I figured we open it up to code reviews. You guys can bring in your code and just discuss it. Just have a conversation about it. And then we'll be covering Scene Kit after Sprite Kit, so we can go from 2D to 3D. This weekend, I was stuck on adding a stack view to a scroll view. So if anyone wants to do a talk on that one, that would be great. I got two pro tips for today. So the first one is actually, do you guys know how to show your phone on the computer itself? So you can actually like record a screen.
Yeah, I've done that before. Actually, one of my apps, the reviewer couldn't figure out how to use it. So I wrote him like, a paragraph. He's like, I still don't know how it works. He said, so they told me to make a video for them, showing them how to use it, and send it to the review process.
Does this have to do with the thing that prevented the app from being launched?
No, this was like maybe half a year ago. Yeah, but yeah, so it happens that it's sometimes necessary. Yeah.
So just by show of hands, who's upgraded to iOS 11? Oh no, guys! Because the one reason why this kind of is not such a high priority thing is that in iOS 11 now you can screen record directly on this. It's pretty great.
Oh, okay.
You just swipe up, and it's got this button right here, and then you can just shoot. And then you can just start recording. So it counts down, and then it's recording. It's got a little bar at the top, so it's recording the screen now. And then you just finish it up, you just end it. That's it.
So just we'll be in there, just let people just like...
Yeah, do whatever.
Nice.
So it's really good, like me and my buddy, we're trying to just show each other features that we work on, asynchronously. So just record a screen video of it and then just message it. It's really
and then it just saves it in your photo album.
Yep. Cool.
Nice.
So with that one, just because we have the iOS 11 screen recording now, I'm going to skip that pro tip. I mean, I'll show it after maybe, but just because we have a lot of ground to cover today, I'll go to the second pro tip. And I just, me, I like to have my current code up. I like to open up some code on the right-hand side. But I got into this really difficult situation where I want to move the right code just to the left side so I can collapse it, right? Does that make sense?
Right.
I just didn't know how to do it. My friend was saying that this is the way to do it. So I just want to demonstrate this real quick. Okay, so I'll just bring up some code. And let's say that I want to say, like, I want to grab this. So I'm holding Option, click it goes on the right side, right? Let's say I want to just like close out this right side, but I want to keep this code. The way to do this is you click on the icon, right? So you go into the class, you click on the icon, hold it down, you move it over. Actually, it's not going to work on this one because it needs to have code on the left side too. So I'm going to go on the left side now, pick some code. Let's say I want to move this one over to this side. So I grab the icon, click it, move it over into here, and I drop it there. So then I can close this, and I don't lose my place. This is really helpful. I just wanted to share that one. So those are the pro tips. Moving down, housekeeping, Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup. We've got a Meetup page. We are very lucky to be here at the iLab and at HICapacity. If you're interested in becoming a member, HICapacity.org/membership. The bathroom in the iLab is to the left over here. And then, you guys have heard my spiel before, Spectacle app is awesome, it's free, and Screen Hero is free. Awesome. So, tonight's agenda, we'll do introductions, and then I have two things I wanted to talk about tonight. So bring up these websites real quick. So first I wanted to cover just basically building ARKit in Unity, and then importing it into your Xcode and being able to use it on your iPhone. That's one thing. Pretty sure we'll get through that very fast, very quickly tonight. Second thing I wanted to cover is actually just creating this animation. So just before Che and I and O'Neill were working on this, there's a bug in this write-up, so we actually solved it. I think, knock on wood, I think we solved it. But I'm just going to show a quick video of what we're going to be creating. So it's this one right here. And don't know if the audio is going to come through. I think it's muted. This is what we're creating tonight. That was a cool project to work on. We won't have any of these like awesome galaxies or stars, but we'll be able to kind of set it up. It's just an animation playing in the background. So that's that. So I'm going to stop this. That's where we're headed for tonight. So before we head into that, let's do introductions. And with that, does anyone want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I'm a app developer, and you guys know me already.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Anyone want to go next?
Yeah. Neil, back to the back. Just been doing this for a little bit. Ready to hear like tonight. It's pretty cool. They are
Right on.
running.
Right on. Leo, do you want to go next?
Sure. So I'm Leo. I guess kind of. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm looking for a job on the mainland right now, kind of the Bay Area. So still on that grind. Hopefully I'll find something soon.
Good luck with the job search. I'm David. I'm organizer of Hoya. I still develop a Meetup, and I'm working on ARKit and Unity right now. So without further ado, let's launch right in. So first what we're going to do is we're going to be going off of that, but people on the stream won't be able to see that, so I'm going to bring it up on my computer. And I'll do maybe a bird's eye view first of what we're going to cover, and then we'll go into the code and do it. And also, if you guys aren't interested in the piece-by-piece stuff, I got the project finished already if you just want to look at that. So we'll go into it. This is just an overview of ARKit and how it's evolved over time. Shoot, actually I'm thinking about this one. It starts at the top with an overview. Going back into this one. It's just a step-by-step. So basically install Unity. It doesn't have to be this version anymore. This is kind of an outdated article, but it works. So first you download Unity. Then you go to the asset store within Unity, and you just download the Unity ARKit plugin. Third step, start a new Unity project. Once you have the ARKit plugin, you can just hit this add asset package, and the ARKit plugin will pop up. Just add it in. We're going to be doing a 3D project right here. Add a name to it, and then you just create the project. This is all done already with the new way that you do it in Unity. Brings it in. And final step, all you're going to be doing is you're going to be setting up the project to build to iOS rather than to desktop or PC or Linux. And then you just do a few more subtle changes in setting this up for exporting to iOS. And this one's already done for you now in the latest one, so you don't even have to put this in. But what this is that now you have the privacy in the info.p list. You just got to give some kind of description of why you're using it. So this is just where you put it in. But it's already filled in with it's kind of a funny message from Unity. It's pretty funny. And then you just build it to an app folder. Once that app folder is created, go into the app folder. And it's just like an Xcode project. Open up the Xcode project right here. And then compile and run. Last piece here, make sure you update your code signing identity. That'll keep you from building. That's done, and then you're good to go. Starts running, and then you see it. When I've run this, I was actually pretty surprised at how just like, this kind of seems better than ARKit in Xcode. But with Unity, it's pretty good. It seems really like snappy rather than SceneKit. SceneKit's kind of slow and laggy, but it could have been because it was an iOS 11 beta. But I noticed this one's very fast now. So, any questions before we launch into how to do this? Okay, just a quick preference. Do you guys want to go step by step for this one, or do you want to just see the finished code? Up to you guys.
just like a very quick step-by-step.
Okay, how about you guys? Do you have any preferences?
How many steps are there?
We just went through it. It's pretty fast. I've done it like 4 times now. Okay, we'll just go through it. So we'll just have a new one. So let's start at the top. I'm actually going to keep this going on a separate screen. Shoot, it's going to be difficult to do. Let's see. It's going down here. It's down here. Shoot, I'm just going to go back and forth. I think it'd just be easier for me to control it from here. I'm going to kind of rush through this because the other stuff is very, like, there's a lot more steps to it. So I'll rush through this one. So I'll start at the top of this. All right. So we're going through, I'm just going to open up Unity. I'll just go walk you guys through it. So you go to Unity, I think it's unity3d.com. Just download the game engine, sign up, get Unity. It's pretty straightforward. So you just download it. It's going to kill my screen sharing, so I'm going to close that. So I've downloaded Unity. I'm just going to open up Unity now, and let's do a new project. So I'll go new project, and then it's going to open up. Just waiting for it. So I'll name this one Unity AR Kit 001. Go to 3D, asset package right in here, Unity AR Kit plugin. Select that one, click on done, save it to, save it to this directory, create a project. So it's creating it in the background right now.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I've never used Unity. So is Unity free to use? And
Free to use.
You just have to register and download it.
Yep.
Yep, register and download.
So we're just waiting for this to create the new one, and it has been created now. One thing I just want to show is how to get the Unity ARKit plugin installed in this. So maybe the first time you do it, just create just a regular simple project, and then key here is just go to the asset store. Click on this. This is kind of Unity's way to add, like almost their Cocoa Pods, ways to bring in content kind of thing. So I'm just do a quick search. I'm going to go Unity, or probably just ARKit plugin, ARKit plugin. Press enter, and it's going to be this one right here. You just click it. Let's just do it for here. Go through here, you import it. It's already in here, so I'm going to just cancel it. But you just go through that process. Then every time you restart Unity, create a new project, it's always going to be there in your assets. You can just bring it in.
Yep.
So I'll go back into the scene. What we've done is that's everything for the Unity Kit plugin. Go back to the update. So I'm going to scroll through all of this because this is kind of old ways to do it with the old version of Unity 5.6.1 PL. Yeah. We are currently on Unity, I think it's 2017 1.1F1. So this all works. So we'll go down, skip all this stuff because we've just done all this. We've started the new Unity project. Like I said, I added the asset package as well. So now we are down to all this stuff we've done already. Here we go. So in the project window, double click the Unity ARKit scene file. So for this one, let's find it. Get the project. We've got the Unity ARKit plugin. We'll double click on it, and then we want to go to examples. So we double click on examples, and then there is, I'm going to just bring up the icons so I can read them. So we are looking for AR, there it is, here, AR scene. There it is, and then we just double click on that. This is where we are. So that's great. I'm going to save it right here, and then I'll go back to the write-up. So what we've done is we just clicked on this, we navigated to it, clicked it, and then it's opened up. So we've got all our content here, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change how Unity is going to be, like the platform that it's going to. So we'll go through the process, we'll actually read it through here. Now that we have a correct scene loaded, we can set up the build process. First, we need to bring up the build window, which can be done either pressing Shift-Command-B or by clicking File, Build Settings. So Shift-Command-B in Unity, Shift-Command-B, and now we have the build settings here. I'm going to switch back to Firefox and done all this. So in build settings, select iOS as the platform. So this is kind of exporting, yeah? Yeah. So we click to iOS, and then we click on Switch Platform. It's going to do all its magic behind the scenes and switch back over. So we've done all this, we've switched the platform. Next we click Add Open Scenes. So this is kind of a, let me know if I'm going too fast, guys, too, yeah? So another thing you have to keep in mind when you are exporting your project to a different platform is you have to make sure that the scenes you want to build are listed here. Right. So right now we're only interested in getting this one Unity ARKit scene, so that's the only one that's selected right here. But the scenes you want have to be here. So switch back over, and so we've done iOS and we've switched the platform, right? So we've clicked on Switch Platform. Next thing we need to do is we need to click on Player Settings button. So, where was that? Oh, I'm sorry, Add Open Scenes has already been done. Click on the Player Settings button. Oh, right here. Click on that. Waiting for this. And so this brings up this side view right here. So all they're trying to instruct us to do here is they want us to update our plist privacy camera description. And it's been updated in Unity for this build, and it's pretty cool. It says ARKit, baby. Yeah. That's hilarious. So I'll scroll further down. Okay, so it's saying click build too, yeah. So I click on build, and what it's saying now is, where do you want the Xcode files to be saved? So we just create a folder called app, and then we click on save. and then it's going to build the whole thing to an app folder now.
So real quick, that
Sure.
that plist thing for camera usage.
Yeah.
Is that what appears in the pop-up when the app asks for permission?
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd actually want to put in.
Yeah, you want to put something else in that AR baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to go for a while, but we're pretty much there, guys.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to scroll down some more. This is all done already. So here it is. Let's come up here, and now we have this folder here. And we go right into it. This is what was built for us. We go right into it, and we get all our Xcode stuff. So next, I'm going to just double click on this, the Xcode project file, and open it up in Xcode. Now that that's ready right here, I want to just go back, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. We've done all this app saving. That's it, that's it, that's it. And compile and run, and we're good to go. Last thing we got to do is update the code signing here.
Yeah.
So we go in, hit here, update the code signing. It's done. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to connect my phone now. Right. There we go. I guess for this one, now is the time that I'll showcase how to do the screen recording on this that's connected here. So we go over to QuickTime. Ooh, see, that's 20 build issues. We'll deal with that later. Let's go to QuickTime Player, and then I believe it is New Screen Recording, and then you click on this down arrow, and you go for the phone. Oh shoot, what is that?
We're doing too much stuff.
Yeah, maybe. Well, that's the way I would do it. My phone's connected right now, and I see all these build errors though. That shouldn't be there. But let's try it. Let's try it. Build, build, build. This is looking good. It's got a lot of source files to go through. I'm going to try to get all this done in 20 minutes. We've got 40 to keep going. So while that is going, so we can mark this one done. So I'll close out this one. And then we're going to be moving over for the next one, is we're going to be figuring out how to do that melting floor thing, set it up with Unity. Build succeeded, it's building to my phone right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it build, run it for first time, and then I'll close it down, disconnect, come over to you guys so you can just see it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's coming up on my phone right now. It's running. It's bringing up the Unity loading screen right now, and we're up going right now. So I'm going to stop the build here, stop running, walk over to you guys, and show you that it works with, you guys probably need to see it launch first. So just bring this up, get the Unity loading, and then it just goes straight in. So I'm going to just look for some spots. There we go. So it's just plain detection. So it went fast, yeah. And that's it. And then this has a little thing so you can place a block inside. Yeah. So pretty straightforward. Unity to Xcode. Okay, so we got that. Any questions before we move to the other one?
Nope.
Okay. So I'm going to close out this project because I don't want to get mixed up. And then I think this one too. Okay. So I showed where we're headed with this one. Do you guys have a preference? You want to see bird's eye view, see the entire tutorial before we dig into it?
Yeah.
Step by step? Okay.
Very quick.
Okay. All right, here we go. So a ton of information about ARKit. This is how ARKit functions. This is the Project Tango, how it uses to map out the world. But ARKit is kind of a different beast. So it's just kind of giving you some tips and tricks about how to do stuff, the limitations of ARKit.
And also, the Project Tango requires a, how they get the infrared camera.
Yeah.
But it turns out one of the reasons why the iPhone 10 it's the same type of depth camera used in iPhone 10. The problem is it's very expensive and very power hungry, and you can't use it outside. Infrared doesn't have a very limited range outside, especially with the sun. So it's really, Project Tango is best for indoor mapping, not outdoor.
Right.
So.
Okay. So.
So I didn't realize. So the iPhone has
the 10. Yeah.
Newest one.
Oh, it's
basically
for a camera capability.
Yeah, it's basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But yeah, like I said, it has that. The reason why the full Project Tango, to do that is because it has that depth camera to do it. iPhone 10 has the same depth camera, but like I said, the big limitation is very power hungry.
Yeah.
And
one more limitation of it is it's only front facing.
Front facing, yeah. No, I mean, but the other problem is very power hungry. And if you were to put back in, it's going to need a battery power like crazy.
Yeah.
So.
I guess I'm not too familiar, but do other smartphones tend to have infrared cameras on them as well?
It's only the Tango or the
Tango.
Tango ones.
But even then, I read a good article why it wasn't very adopted. It's expensive. That's one of the big reasons why the iPhone 10 is like $999. And also, it's a very specialized hardware. Yeah, you can do all that mapping in Project Tango. Problem is, you need that depth camera, therefore to capture all that information. iPhone 10 is, maybe in the future I'm not put it back, but one of the reasons why, and it doesn't work outside.
I suspect the reason they put it on the front-facing camera is they wanted to get just like better Snapchat face filter kind of stuff.
Face filter, yeah. It's just basically a specific use of the Project Tango with. Think of it as a mini version.
Right.
The problem with the full feature, I've been reading on it, is one of the biggest reasons why. And the Google's AR car for Android is going to be a very small subset. It's not going to be fully featured like the full Project Tango because of the cost. And most of the phones will have that depth camera. That kind of stuff. It's not only expensive, it's power hungry too. So.
We'll stick with what we have to work with on these.
Exactly.
And so, just going through with the tutorial, we went over that. So we've got Unity version beyond this. iOS 11 has dropped already. We're working with the iPhone 6s Plus right now, and we've got the Unity ARKit plugin. So this guy's just saying, here's the assets to do what we're doing, and then here we go into it. So just kind of briefly going over, you see how long this tutorial is?
Yeah,
we'll get into it.
Every detail.
But yeah, this also has comments below, so it's not crazy long. But okay, so basically creating a new project, we'll bring in Unity ARKit scene, which I've already shown.
Yep.
And then in here, with the Unity ARKit example scene, we're gonna just be building onto that thing. So this step 3 here is to just disable some of this stuff. So you're gonna be disabling that gray cube that showed up.
Yeah.
We're also gonna be disabling the ground planes, the visualization, and also the point cloud particles. So we just won't see those, right? Just to keep it clean. Moving on. So then we bring in the FBX that the guys provided with us, and that just creates the hole. And then there's like a box around, a bounding box, just so you can see it. Then we're gonna go down, we just move this, change the scale. We do all that. And then the animation is already inside of this FBX. There's an animation called Take 1. And we're just gonna be, sure.
Sorry, FBX?
Yeah.
The file format for what is that, 3D?
3D, yeah.
Okay, is it specific, is it like Blender, Maya, or all those can actually output the file?
I don't know with 100% certainty, but FBX is like almost like universally used, I think. I know it comes out of Blender, but I'm not sure.
Okay, let me check.
But while Jay's checking, I'm just going to keep going on this stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got an animation inside of the FBX that we're just going to be pulling in. All we're doing here is we create a animator right here, and we're just going to be using that to call. We're setting up the animator here, kind of like a state machine, but not really. It kind of just looks like a state machine. We'll go further down, adding that. And then here we get into materials. So with materials, this is when we have like a 3D model. We can add a material with like an albedo for a color. We can change the metallic sheen on it, smoothness, all that kind of stuff. So we'll go over that stuff in here. We'll be creating like 3 or 4 materials for this project too.
FBX is a Autodesk.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. So we'll create all these materials, and then we just apply them. So all of this is going to be like a depth mask shader. This is just code they give you, and we're just going to go with it. And then we create a shader, we apply it, and then we are going to do the hit test. So this is where it gets kind of interesting. Is hit test is kind of the terminology that ARKit uses, and it finds out wherever the AR point cloud is. You can actually you can go into it and you can just kind of see that's where the plane is going to be, and that's hit test is going to be where it finds that plane, and then we're going to be using that with ARKit to let Unity know where it should be placing the model that we're going to be showing. So we're bringing it in with the hit test code is already in here for us with an example code, example script, and then we just bring it in. We'll do all this stuff, so you don't have to really know it right now. And then we're actually going to go into the scripting for the hit test, and we're just going to be doing some C#. So blah, 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 blah. And finally, this last piece, he saved this for the end. I was kind of excited about this. He's saying, I know the tutorial looks awesome, but we're not going to be using that galaxy, video. Just like create 2 3D spheres. So we just need 2 3D spheres underneath. And so that's it. Then you just export to Xcode the exact same way that we did it just previously. Update your plist. So they say use camera for AR here. Maybe a better description than AR baby, right? And then you can put in your bundle identifier here too. Yeah. And you just build it, and that's it. So that's done. So with that said, you guys have any questions before we go into the code?
Okay, is there understand the process? So you build it up in Unity, you take it into Xcode in order to be able to archive it and be able to submit to the App Store. Is there any I don't know, optimizations or things that you can do in Xcode, or is Xcode just a way to submit to the App Store in this case?
You can go into the code. I guess I want to
Yeah, you can.
I don't know about customizations, but what's the word you use?
Optimization.
Optimizations. I don't know. Right now, I'm not doing any kind of optimization. I'm just building Unity, bringing it in. But you do have full access to all the code that's created. So
yeah.
if you
can modify it.
Yeah, you can make it optimized if you want, but you got all the code here. So you can just grab it, just update whatever you want if you want to do some serious stuff. So you could probably run performance, instruments on this too, make it super fast. But that being said,
thank you.
Yeah, sure. So that was that. Does anyone have any other questions, or you guys just want to build this thing out? See how it goes. All right. So we'll start from the top. All right, so like we said, we got all this stuff. It's just the history of it. Let's go into it, and then showcase. We have everything we need here. And so now we go, and I've already downloaded all this stuff, so I'll just bring it up later. All right, so preparing the scene, let's create a new project here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the code that we just created in Unity, and I'm just gonna build off of this one, just because it's all set up for us already. So here, does anyone have any questions about how we got here? Is it pretty clear? We're just using that setup, right? So we've got this. I'm going to move this to the side just so I can kind of move back and forth a little easier. So we're preparing the scene. So it's all taken care of. Now we're going to step 3 right here. We don't need any of these assets for the hierarchy view, so delete the random cube and hit cube objects. For this one, I just kind of disable them, just because I want to delete and come back if you need it later on. So for this, it's asking us to delete the random cube and hit cube objects. So I look into the hierarchy view here. I'm seeing the random cube, and so this is going to be just this random cube to place it. To disable, you just go over to inspector and you just uncheck this. So it removes it. The Unity doesn't even care about it anymore, but it still exists, and we can always reactivate it later. But for now, I'm just disabling it. So I wanted that one, and it also wanted the hit cube object disabled as well. So I'm going into the hit cube parent. This is just set up this way. The hit cube is just a 3D object. I'm just going to go to it, and I just want to disable this one too. Disabled, done. So I'm just save. So this is done. Then next, point cloud particles and generate planes we want to disable. So we go over to, can you guys see this? Okay.
Yeah.
Going over to generate planes, disabling this one, and then also going over to the point cloud particles and disabling that as well. Then I'm saving again. Just saving as we go. That's done. Any questions?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So within the Unity editor itself, are you able to like create 3D objects?
I would do it with, or yeah, you absolutely are. But if you want to do anything that is a little more, you know, concave, convex shapes and everything, I would definitely use Blender or something else.
And then import it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
import it as an FBX. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
But just quickly to show how easy it is to create a new object.
But like a simple geometric shape.
Yeah,
would
you can just go like this. You can just go click, create 3D object cube.
Okay. Yeah.
Boom, there's a cube in there.
Okay, cool.
So just undo that and save. Any other questions? Okay, we're gonna keep going. So we've done this part. We're gonna scroll down more to step 4. Next, we're gonna prepare our assets. We create a new prefabs folder in the assets and import the whole .fbx file by dragging it into the prefabs folder. So for this one, we just head over to assets. We go and we right click and we're just gonna create a new folder that's gonna be called prefabs. So prefabs. Okay, press enter, there it is. And then now I want to get the whole .fbx file by dragging it into the prefabs folder. For the whole FBX, I am just going to, I don't know how to find this as quickly as I want to. I should have got this ready. I'm just going to go in here. X should bring it up. Okay. So I'm going to find this containing folder and just control clicking on this one. And I'm going to show and closing folder. There we go. Real quick thing, another pro tip I wanted to share is if you ever get kind of tired waiting for stuff to open up, like if you want to move something into a folder, waiting for it, finally goes to it, one way that you can do it is you just go to the folder and press space. It goes right to it. So you don't have to waste your time waiting for that thing to go. So that's just kind of a tip. All right, so what we were doing here, I'm just going to close out Xcode because we're probably going to get to this at the end. We don't need Xcode right now. Close it out. And I'm just going to minimize this too, so we can see all this stuff, keep it clean. All right, so within here, we want to move the FBX into the prefabs folder, yeah? So I'm just going to drag it. I think this is right. So into the prefabs folder, let it go. It's in there, double click. Here's our FBX now. So that takes care of that one. Close this out, head back in here. So create a new prefabs folder in assets and import the whole .fbx file by dragging in the prefabs folder. We have done that, and let's see. So moving on to step 5. FBX file stores both object and animations. Drag the provided whole .fbx file into the scene hierarchy. Make sure you drag it under the root of the hierarchy. So that just means it wants it in here, like directly here. So what we're going to do is we grab the FBX. We're going to drag it right up in here. You can drag it on here too, but I'm going to keep it in the hierarchy and put it right there. So I've let it go, and there it is. Here's our FBX right there, centered with the camera. So that's great. So we've done that. We have dragged it right under the hierarchy. So the scale is off, but it's an easy fix. Just select the whole under model and the whole import settings, change the scale factor from 1 to 2. So we'll do that. With the whole FBX selected, we go over to the model itself. I just uncheck that real quick. And we click on select right here for the model. Then it gives us the options for the scale factor. We bump it to 2 and we press return. And we go back in here, we apply it. There we go. So that scale factor from 1 to 2. So we'll move down and we're going to set up the animation now. Any questions?
Yeah, what does scale factor do exactly?
So I wish I knew the exact numbers, but it's almost like there's a correspondence between like Unity world space and physical world space. And I believe it's like a 1.1 or something like that, some kind of different ratio. That when you import things, you got to stick to a certain ratio. So for this one, if we left it at 1, I think it would show up as like very tiny. So we want to make it blow up a bit bigger.
So you're basically just double in size from 1 to 2.
Yeah,
but
in all aspects, X, Y, Z.
So I guess when you create the object itself, you're creating it in like inches or something?
Ooh, I don't know. I
okay.
can't comment on that.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so we keep going. So setting up the animation. If you take a look at the prefab, it consists of 4 meshes. So let's head over to the prefab, let's check it out. Opening it up, 4 different meshes. We've got an edge, hole inside, hole top, and inner box. Great. So if you select some of the objects in the hole, you'll notice in the inspector that there's a skinned mesh renderer applied. The hole has a blend shape animation attached. If you look in the prefab, there's also an animation clip, take 001. So we access that by clicking on this arrow right here, and it shows us what's inside of the prefab. Scroll down a bit and we see our take 1 animation right here. We can actually play it in here. So that's just it closing up, right? Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So I stop the animation, and we'll go back in here. It's the animation for the blend shapes that animates the hole from open to close. Next, we're going to connect the animation clip to the hole. So number 6 right here. Create a new scenes directory in the assets folder. Let's do that before we go on. I want to save as well. We'll bump this down a bit so we have a little more room. And it's asking us to create it in the assets. We're going to create a folder called scenes. Folder scenes. Just make sure that's spelled right. Okay. All right, and then inside of the scenes directory, we go into it and we go assets, create animation controller. So we right click and we go create, shoot, sorry, not that way. Inside of the scene folder, we go up here, assets, create, shoot, doing the same thing. Create animation controller. Animation controller right there. Boom. And then we also have to name this one to whole animation controller. So I'll just copy this, copy, zoom in here, single click, paste, enter. We've done that. Rename it to whole animation controller. So that's done. I'm going to save it, move back in. Number 7. Any questions? Select the whole asset in the view. So let's do that. Boom. The whole asset. Now we've got access to this stuff, the FBX. And then drag the whole animator controller to the controller field of the animator to connect it. So we go in here. We're going to move it right into here. It's controller right here. So we grab this one, drag it over, just drop it right in here. It goes blue when it's ready, and there it's set right there. Click here on the title just to make sure, title bar just to make sure it's all set. And I'm clicking Command S one more time to save. So that's done. We're done with step 7. Number 8. If you double click whole animator control, the animator view will open up. So we've done that already. Double click, and here it is. So go to the prefabs now and drag the take 1 into the view to connect it to the animator. So boom, we click on the assets prefab, take 2, so we got that with the FBX, take 1, we'll just drag it in, just drop it right there, it's connected. Now the animation clip is connected to the hole. Scroll down some more. Since the whole animation animates from open to close, we need to reverse it. Select the take 1 and add in the inspector change to speed of -0.6. So rather than type that in, I'm going to copy it, and we go over to it. So I need to go to the take 1 animation and change the speed from 1 to -0.6. So it's going opposite, and a little slower. I press return to save that, and I click on the tab title just to make sure that's right. Okay, save it. And then this way it's going to play from close to open, make the animation a bit slower. Done. All right, so we've done all that. We're going to move into materials now. And this is a great time for us to pause. Any questions? Okay. How's the speed?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's keep going. So next, I'm just going to read this out just so we get all on the same board, on the same page. Next, we're going to create the materials for the hole. The inside box will get a black material just to simulate the emptiness when you peek in. For the whole inside, there's a dark texture. The whole top will get an occlusion material that will hide everything inside the box. And the whole edge, that is the outer glowing edge of the hole, will get an additive shader that it will blend with the environment. So let's head to step 9. We're going to be creating some textures now. For this whole FBX, I need to do the search again. Should have had this ready before, but I need to do just a quick search. So whole FBX, and what's in here? Okay, I'm just gonna, should find it though. There we go. So I'll go here, enclosing folder, and we have, shoot, that's not it. I need to unzip it. Okay, so here it is, it's in downloads. So all it's saying right here is just bringing these two assets, two PNGs. I'm gonna close this out now that we have this folder, and we're just taking edge.png and hole.png to the scenes folder to import them. So back in here, let's go to the Assets Scenes folder, and we're just going to drag these two in. So drag them, drop them, and waiting for them to be imported right now, or maybe it hasn't seen it. There we go. Imported, done. That's it for these assets. We'll close that out. Done with step 9. I just want to save just to keep it. Step 10, first we'll create the black material for the inside of the box. So what we want to do here is just create a new material. So within scene, I believe it's within scene. Does it want us to move over? Okay, we'll stay in scenes. So we go to Assets, Create Material. So in here, and then we go to Assets, Create Material. Boom. We want to name this one Inner Box Mat. So I'm just going to double click this again. Copy it, and I just want to rename this, not a double click, but a slow single, paste, enter. That's set. I'm also going to make this bigger so we can just see all the title names completely. And then select the material, and in the albedo property, change the color to black and the smoothness to 0. So we select it, we change the albedo to black, and then we change the smoothness to 0. Enter, save, done. And then lastly, turn on emissions. This will give the shader a static black color. Now drag the material onto the inner box to apply it. So for this one, I want to turn on emissions, so right in here. And then we save that, and then they're instructing us to drag this material onto the inner box. With this one, I got into a bunch of problems when I did it initially. So instead of actually going for the, okay, and this is kind of another issue inside of Unity, is you have these separate tabs for different views. We always just want to go back to the scene view, and that allows us to kind of do things, but we can also change it up to what we would see in the game view. For this, kind of just don't worry about it. It's kind of messed up right now. We're halfway. Back in the scene view, and it wants us to drag this new material onto specifically the inner box map. What I did when I did this a few times is I just drag it right on here, and I don't know which one is the inner box map on this one, yeah? So I just don't do that one, and instead I drag this onto this right here. So I'm going to just drag it just so I can pinpoint it. There, drag it, drop it. Go. Yep, so we see it here, yeah? Inner box map applied to this inner box right here. So save that one, and any questions? All right, keep going. We'll go for 11. Next, create a new material and name it Hole Inside Mat. So I'll copy this one before I create the material, and again, I'm going to go here, Assets, Create Material, and then I'm going to paste the name, press Enter. We've got that. Go back in, select the material and the albedo property. Select the little circle that will let you pick a texture. So instead of creating it with just an image, with a color, click on this thing right here, and then it allows us to select the texture. So for this one, it wants us to select the whole texture. So we go back in here, albedo, and it's the whole texture. So for this one too, I think he's maybe doing his tutorial a little fast. He didn't name it, or maybe updated it, but we're going to go whole inside for this one. So we just click on that, and it's set right here. I'll close that window next. And the next thing you want us to do is, there's an alpha inside the texture. To be able to render it, you have to change the rendering mode from opaque to cutout. So let's go in here, and the texture, instead of opaque, we want to go cutout. So we save that one again by clicking on Command S, back in here. So we've done that. Drag the material onto the whole inside object now. So we've got our new material, whole inside mat material. I'm going to go whole is inside, right? Whole inside object. Drag them over. Shoot, I just dropped it. Undo. Good. Cutout is still saved, and we want to go whole inside. Drop it. Done. Verifying whole inside mat's right there. Saving it, going back to the right up. That's done already. Depth mask shader next. Any questions? Okay, keep going. Number 12. Now we're going to create the occlusion material for the outer box that will hide everything that renders inside of it. For this, we will have to create a custom mask shader that will occlude geometry behind. The custom shader will make the geometry appear as if it was invisible by rendering the geometry in different passes, and then reversing the order to show of how the passes are drawn in the view. Create a new material, rename it to whole top map. Let's do that. Whole top map, copy in here. We're going to go click, assets, create material, pasting the name, pressing enter, and just saving right there. Going back to Firefox. Then create shader, standard surface shader. So, oh, sorry, am I getting ahead of myself? Whole top map material. Okay. Then create shader, surface, standard surface shader. So here, it's going to be a right click, create shader. There's a shader, and I think it's standard surface shader, pretty sure. Standard surface shader. So right click, create shader, standard surface shader. Okay, and then we need to name this one with mask. Got that. Come back in here and rename it mask. Pressing enter, done. Saving, double click the shader to open it, and in the editor replace everything with this code. So I'm going to copy this code. So this is where it gets, might get kind of scary, is that we're actually going to be leaving Unity, the Unity editor now, and we're going into MonoDevelop, which is the C# editor that comes bundled with Unity to do C# programming for scripts that will be applied to these 3D objects. So in order to do that, all we do is, I believe, we just double click on mask, and it opens up our shader right here. So this is all just the regular shader stuff baked in. We've copied from what they've written up, so I'm going to Command A, all this stuff, and then I'm going to Command V to paste this in. So that's set for us. Command S to save it, and back to the write-up. So we've done that. Oh, and then I also need, okay, I've done all that. Any questions? Okay, keep going, number 12. We're going to add the mask shader to the whole top map material. In the inspector view of the material, change shader from standard to occlusion mask. So occlusion is just, this is just kind of a file structure, right? So we go to occlusion, and then we go to mask, the shader that we just created. So I should read it one more time. So we're going to add a mask shader to the whole top material. So we're done with MonoDevelop for now. I'm going to minimize it, head back into Unity, and we go to our whole top map. And then for the shader that we choose here, we go to custom mask, right? Click on it, and it's set. So we have custom mask now. And click on Command S to save, head back over to Firefox. And now, for this last step, last step in step 12, drag the material on top of the whole top object, and you should see the viewport, how this box seems to disappear. So let's do that. Let's drag the shader onto the whole top, or drag the material, whole top map, onto whole top. Whole top mapped onto whole top. Boom. Done. All right, so that is set. Save. Going back to Firefox. It has seemed to disappear. 13. So we'll finish up 13, and then we'll go for questions. So 13. Last we need to create the glowing edge material. Create a new material and rename it whole edge mapped. Copying this, doing a new material, create new material, renaming it with what we have, pressing enter, and going back to Firefox. In the inspector, change the shader from standard to mobile particles additive. So with this whole edge map selected, we go over to the shader, and I'm not sure what it asks for again. So it wants mobile particles additive. Shader, mobile, where's the mobile? Mobile particles additive. Clicked, done. Save, head back to Firefox. This material will blend with what's rendered behind. The additive effect will appear as if it's glowing. In the inspector, change the texture to whole edge.png. So inside of this material, change the texture to whole edge.png. With this material, change the texture to whole edge. So this one. Done. Save that. Head back over here. The additive effect will appear as if it's glowing. Done all this. Apply the new material to the whole edge object, and your scene should look like this. So we've got our whole edge map to the whole edge there. And if we zoom in on this, we can see it right there. See that? So it's added this stuff in. So we save that, head back over to Firefox, and we are done with that. Any questions? Are we on time? Oh shoot, okay. We gotta go. But we go to 8 o'clock too, so we don't have to rush that much. So.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's done. You guys need to take a break, or you want to just keep going?
Keep going.
All right.
Almost there.
All right. Hit test. We have the animation and material set up. We're going to set up so that we can place the box in the world. This will be done with the help of a hit test script. The Unity AR Kit plugin comes with a starter example script for this. Here we go. In the scene view, set the hole as a child to the HICube parent object. Also delete the HICube object. We won't need that. I'm going to say before we do that, we're not going to delete it. We've already disabled it, so we're going to disregard that. But we will need to have the whole FBX, or the whole object, as the under the HICube parent in the hierarchy. So click on this, I'm going to collapse it, and then just move this one right in there. So there, now it is a child of HICube parent. Save that, head back to Firefox. On to step 15. We want to center the origin of the hole to the HICube parent. So in the inspector, set the XYZ properties for the hole position to 0. So we head over to the hole, we'll go to the XYZ position. This is the only one we need to update. Click on 0, enter. So it's set at the 0 position, save, go back over to Firefox, and we're done with 15. 16, add a new script component to the hole by selecting the hole, and in the inspector view, select add component scripts, Unity Engine XR.ios, Unity AR Hit Test Example. So this is kind of how you do stuff when you want to add a script to an object within Unity. Head over to the object, I just want to make sure it's just the hole. Head over to the hole, click on Add Component, and then for this one, we want to use AR, shoot, that's not it. I gotta look at the list, what it says again. So it wants scripts, Unity Engine, and an AR Hit Test Example. Scripts, S-U-U. Scripts, Unity XR iOS, and the hit test example. So that's in now. Saving it, heading back over to Firefox. The script component will have a hit transform property right there. Drag the hit cube parent from the scene to connect it to its hit cube. Consequently, whenever the screen is pressed and a collision is detected, it will move the hit cube parent to that position. So we head over here with the hole selected still, so we have access to the hit transform. I think it's hit transform. Yeah, hit transform. So with this hole selected, we're going to just drag this one over. Shoot, I didn't get it on that one. So escape that one. Hole still selected. Hole, and then hit cube parent. I'm going to drag them over. Put them inside here. Okay, that's set. Save. Head back over. Firefox. So we've done all this, on to 17. Now the box moves the right position when a collision is detected, but we need to trigger the animation to start animate from close to open. To do this, we have to open up the hit test example script. Right-click the cog icon next to the Unity AR hit test example script and select Edit Script in the menu. Head over here, this is the cog right here, hit it, and we want to edit the script. Brings up MonoDevelop again, and we're in this C# code now. Heading back over to Firefox. We need to add a reference to the animation in order to start it. Add an animation variable. So I'm just going to copy this, copy it, and this one goes into right here. Boom, set that, save it, head back over to Firefox. We'll instantiate it in the start function. Add the start function. Since we already have connected the animation clip to the whole object, you can get it through get component. So I'm just going to copy this start function right here, put it right above the update. So that kind of just makes sense. Save it. Head back over, and here I'm just going to pause because we found a bug in here. So I'm just going to set, we found that we need to set up a type here, or what would it be, a generic type?
Yeah.
Safe to say?
It was animation.
Animator, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Animator. So animator, right there. Save that one, and we're done with that step. Head down to step 20. Next, we're going to play the animation wherever we get touch and collision detection. In the update function, add the play animation call just before return. So we're just going to copy this one. And right before the return, copy it, move down, returns in the update, and put them right in here. Paste it, save, head back over to Firefox. Here's what the final Unity AR hit test example should look like. I've looked through this already. It already looks like this. I'm just going to go through all of this. All right, so making the inside of the box. Pause here. I'm going to save this. I'm going to just minimize MonoDevelop. Any questions?
So the script gets run whenever, what is a hit? How does the script
So it's going to be, I believe it's just like you tap the thing. That's going to place it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, we'll keep going. Making the inside of the box. The world inside the portal is empty for now. This is the gotcha I was talking about. Making the inner world is not a part of this tutorial. Dang it. But there are great free assets in the assets store that you can download and put inside the hole. If you have time, maybe we'll do that later on. I use the Vast Outer Space 1.0, which has planet, sky, textures, particles, and other great space assets. For now, we're going to put some simple spheres inside as a temp. So I head over to 21, create an empty game object, and parent it under the whole object in the hierarchy. So I'm going to open up the whole object, and I'm just going to right-click in here, and I want to do create 3D object, and we'll do a sphere right here. Boom, we create a sphere right there. I'm going to move it down a bit just so it stays inside, and then we'll do it one more time. Another 3D object, sphere, and we'll move it a little bit, oh shoot, but we don't want it as a child, so undo that. Hit the hole, hit that, 3D object, sphere, we've got another sphere in here now. But just so we can see them, move it a bit, move it down a bit too. And there we go. So those two are set. Moving back over, we're getting really close to the end now. So move them, create two spheres, scale them, and move them so that they are fitted inside the box, which they are. Make sure with that one, I'm gonna just zoom out a bit, and then holding Option, I can kind of look around this thing. It looks like it's inside. Maybe this one I wanna move down a bit. Making sure I grab the sphere itself, move it down so it's inside, and then I'm saving it, and then that's good. All right, and they are parented to inner world. So where was inner world? So he wants it to be in here. So I'm gonna go and just create a empty one. Create empty. Shoot, I don't want it in there. So I go to the whole, control click, create empty, and we're gonna call this one inner world. Inner world, enter. And then we'll put the two spheres inside of it. Okay, so there we got those, and it looks like it's still in the middle. Heading back over to Firefox, and then we're at the end of the tutorial now. Prior to this, I haven't been able to run it, so this will be, it would be maiden voyage. So just gonna follow through to the end. Let's just, completely burn this thing out. Export to Xcode. We have it all set up, so I'm gonna go to File, Build Settings. Figure it out, save. Shift Command B to build settings, making sure that the scene to build is checked, which it is. And then also we wanted to, there's one thing to check on here is that the build setting is set, and then we also want to do player settings. So I found the quickest way to get the player settings in here. It's going to help, and then just click on player settings. Player settings, so it's just going to be this one. So boom, right there, it comes up on the right hand side. So here I can change the bundle identifier. I'm not going to, I'm just going to keep it right there. And then just to kind of be good about this, so this would be, this app is requesting permission to use your camera for, and then anybody have a suggestion of what they want to make this say? Put in whatever. Blah.
Awesome balls in a hole.
Maybe something different on that one.
Yeah,
I'll just put to show AR kit, or AR kit scene. Enter. Okay, so that's set. We have it all set up there and saving it. Head back over to Firefox. Build the app. Unity will create the Xcode project for you. Open the project in Xcode. Do the signing certificate. Run the app in the physical phone. We're done. So, this final step. Whew. All right. So we've got this, and it's all set for iOS. Let's build it. It's building out to the app. We're in Unity ARKit 1. I might forget that. Let's keep that. Let's replace it. It's replacing it, just going to build in the background. I'll hook up my phone, so we do the maiden voyage.
Did it build?
Ready? Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's going.
And that means
The script, the script is good to go.
So prior to this, when you tried to build it, it would kick out an error message or something?
Yeah, because the tutorial was incomplete. It could have been a different version of Unity or mono-develop, where it didn't require a generic type to be specified.
but this one.
This one requires it. So we found it, we just kind of, the way we found it was we looked for the error that was coming up, and we just found, we reasoned it out.
How specific was the error message? Was it like this script?
It was very specific.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is just, I think it's really helpful to show it, just the error that showed up. So I'm just going to edit the script just so we can see it and see what kind of error comes up. So what we had to do is we had to just change this. We didn't have this animator in here. So I'm just going to copy this, do it on a different line, paste it, and then do like some commenting it out. Took it out. This wasn't even in here. This tutorial says just put it in like this.
Yeah.
So we save it like that, and we go back into Unity. The cool thing about Unity is that if it finds any errors, it just refuses to build. Boom. So you get this.
Wow.
And then it tells us right in here, with this right here, using generic method, get component requires a type. So the cool thing about this is that we can actually double click on this and it takes us to mono-develop exactly to the offending line.
Oh,
Which is
cool.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to delete this one. I can just undo all this stuff. Okay, save that. We've already built it now. So I'm going to close all this out and close this one and now open up Xcode, or actually let's go in here. Let's go to Unity and we went at this first one and we built it to this app folder and now we have our Xcode project here. Double click on it, opens up in Xcode. I'm going to go full screen, updating the code signing so that it builds correctly, saving and running. Fingers crossed. I'll make some space here. Still building. Okay, here we go. Just gonna wait for the phone. Okay, build succeeded, that's good. Running, there we go. Crash on me. Looks good, looks good. Okay, it's running on my phone. And there we go. All right, so I'm gonna look for a plane. Maybe I'll stop it so we can all do the main voice together. Stop it. And over here, I'm gonna stare here, guys. So it's gonna be right in here. I think this is the one. Open it up in Unity. It's going. Let's find a plane. Okay, so I think we have to wait because we took away the points, we took away the planes. So we're just trying to just get it to have like some kind of thing, right? I'm assuming it found the plane at this point, so I'm just going to click and hopefully it shows up. Oh, it's not perfect. I mean, but there are the balls.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
The balls are huge.
So I mean, it needs some tweaking. We got this black. You know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
inclusion is not working,
Yeah.
so we can tweak it.
Yeah.
We got time.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty good.
It works.
Got it. All right.
Okay, but you gotta change the occlusion and
Right.
And
So
if you-
for that, I think that's the meetup right there. I'm gonna stop the feed, and then we have the whole hour left to just keep working on this. If you guys want to.
why not?
All right. So that was it. That's the 40th meetup, and thank you for being here. Anyone in the stream, thank you for being here as well. We are